and a potential even a retest of our base, which is right around 30, 31. That would catch a lot of people off guard. It's not a popular thing to say. It will not make people happy, but it's based on facts. Once it crosses below this blue line, market cycle top.
I mean, it's funny how sentiment shifts so rapidly. Only a few months ago, I don't know if you saw this, Steve, I put out a video where I was bullish on Bitcoin, and the comments I was getting was, nope, we're going to see a crash. This was literally only about 3 months ago, I think it was.
And what's funny, Alessio, is the people when we were here, the people that were calling for us to go substantially lower here are the same group of people that are calling for us to go over 100K now.
Absolutely. You could also call it just herd mentality. You know, it's the mentality of the herd. All right, guys, hello and welcome. We have a very special guest in today's video. We have Steve Courtney of Crypto Crew, and he's going to be joining us, and he's going to be talking about Bitcoin. I'm sure this is a subject which many of you are talking about right now. So we're going to ask Steve Courtney what his views are on the crypto, on Bitcoin in general, and he's got some interesting charts he want to share with us as well. All right, guys, join us.
Hey guys, welcome back. Before we talk about Bitcoin, I just want to quickly mention our sponsor for this video, Pepperstone. Pepperstone was voted Best MT4 Broker by the Good Money Guide in 2023 and the TradingView Broker of the Year in 2022. Pepperstone was also awarded in 2023 the Day Trading Broker of the Year by daytrading.com. Now, these awards are great, but as you know, what traders also want from a good broker are tight spreads, fast and reliable execution with great customer service. So what if I told you that Pepperstone offers you all of that? For example, on the euro dollar, their spreads are as low as 0.7 pips. And on my favorite market, the S&P, the spread is only 0.4 points. As for execution speed, the average is 30 milliseconds, which is remarkably fast, but can depend on the market you're trading. If you use TradingView, that's great because you can also connect that to your Pepperstone account and trade through that. By the way, as you already know, trading carries significant risks, so please trade responsibly. If you want to withdraw your money, no problem. Pepperstone allows you to withdraw any funds into your bank by the next day or back to your card in 3 to 5 working days. Did I also mention that Pepperstone was voted #1 for overall client satisfaction, value for money, charting, and trade execution? To open an account, it's very simple. Go to the link in the description, apply for an account, and check out this award-winning trading platform for yourself. Remember that any money we get from sponsors is given to charity, such as rescuing abandoned animals, like the dog I mentioned in the previous video. Alright guys, let's go back to the video and my discussion with Steve Courtney about Bitcoin.
Steve, thanks very much indeed for joining us in this video. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks very much. And a pleasure to have you. One thing I want to say before we start is that I remember you and I having a chat way months ago, probably at the beginning of 2023. And we were both bullish on Bitcoin. We had several indications going for Bitcoin to the upside. A lot of people were skeptical. I think the majority of the social media crowd were very bearish. They were expecting a crash. But both of us, I remember you and I, we resolutely maintained a bullish bias on Bitcoin. And just recently, Bitcoin hit one of my targets, or key targets of 40K. But I'm interested to know what you think. So I'm sure this could be interesting from the point of view of your charts as well. How have you been, by the way, Steve?
Excellent. Excellent. It's great to be on. I think this is an exciting time for Bitcoin, but it's also an important time to stay level-headed and look at what's realistic as opposed to what's a popular thing to say. And I think that's kind of the key right now. I think a lot of people get burned in markets such that we have now, especially markets that are coming in 2024. The market's going to get hot. There's going to be a lot of new eyeballs. And I'm just focused on how can I help those people, because I was a trader at 16 years old getting absolutely destroyed. So my mission is to really help people. But yeah, I've got a couple of charts I want to share with you. I think you'll enjoy them.
Steve, let's go to your charts.
Okay. So I would like to show two distinct charts, and they both tell the same type of story of these cycles that Bitcoin moves into. The first chart is kind of like a cheat code based on the cycles. And the second one is a visual representation of what these cycles are. And I guess we'll start with this one. This is kind of where we left off, Alessio, at our last filming. This is the chart that I think you like the most. This is the total market cap, just to refresh everybody. Total market cap topped here in 2018 with a huge, huge wick. A lot of people were taking profits. heavy pressure. So this became our resistance. When we broke through it here in 2020, and then we subsequently had a double top and crashed down, this is when we called the bottom on my channel, and this is when we called the double bottom on my channel. It just happened to be that this double bottom on a Bitcoin chart had incredibly strong bullish divergence. It was literally just as strong as the bearish divergence that we had on this double top. So this is where we left off.
I remember, as a matter of fact, that I also called a bottom on Bitcoin in January, February of 2023, this year. So I think probably February when the confirmation of a bottom came for Bitcoin. But anyway, go ahead, Steve.
So then we get to this chart. What we have on this chart is we have the rank correlation index in the middle of our screen. We have the traders dynamic index at the bottom of our screen. And what I notice are some really eerie similarities between cycles and stages of the cycles. What do I mean by that? Traders dynamic index at the bottom. What I want you to do is think of like Bollinger Bands. You have the top of the Bollinger Band in this blue line here, the bottom here, and then essentially you have this middle line. The middle line is orange. And then, like most indicators, there's a fast moving average and a slow moving average. So the fast one happens to be the red one, and the slow one happens to be the green. Anytime on a chart you have a fast moving average and a slow moving average, you want to understand the relationship together. So when you understand the relationship together, you can see that once the red line crosses above the green line here, this candle right here literally marked the bottom of the market in the start of phase one of the bull. So then you say, okay, well, that's one anomaly, but did it do it again? Yes, it did the exact same move on the next market cycle, 2019. This red line crossing above the green marked the absolute start of the bull run and the end of that gruesome bear market. And you fast forward to our current market, the red line crosses the green. We covered it on February. I made a video on February 3rd of this year, and I said it's highly likely that the bull run just started or is just about to start. And that's because this red line crossed above here. Now, when you follow that red line, when we move into phase two of the bull, it's when that red line holds support above the orange line. So we confirmed phase two starting last month. If you look at 2019 and you follow this red line, when it gets above the orange line, this is the start of phase two. This was phase one. Phase one builds market structure directly on top of our resistance area, just like it does in each cycle. And for a visual representation of this, if you look at the cycles, right, we have our bottom of our market here, bottom of our market here, bottom of our market here. Phase one builds market structure directly on top of the resistance. Phase two builds market structure directly on top of phase one resistance. So it's almost like stepping up the stairs. And we did the exact same thing in 2016 and pretty much the same number of days. So we had the bottoming action here. We moved it into phase one. Phase one builds market structure directly on top of our prior resistance. It moved sideways for 200 days. It moved sideways for 200 days in 2012. And it also moved sideways in 200 days in current day, 2023, building market structure directly on top of our prior resistance. In phase two, the goal is simple. Phase two has to build market structure directly on top of our prior resistance. And phase two lasted for 190 days here, 175 days here. So we can expect something similar, roughly 100 to 200 days of moving inside of this box. But the key is each phase two retested our base to confirm the market structure, And we should expect a similar move here. So to enter phase two, the only thing that we need to happen is to have the traders dynamic index with the red line crossing above our median line, the orange one. So we moved into phase two here. We moved into phase two precisely here in 2019, 2020, and we just moved into phase two here. What's interesting about the rank correlation index is that these rules go hand in hand, right? When you look at this red line crossing back above the green line, that happens in every phase two of the market. But what's interesting, Alessio, is when the market tops in the rank correlation index, we have this red line which stayed above the green line for the whole bull. Once it crosses below this blue line, market cycle top. And it happened again in 2021. Once that red line crosses back below, that tells us that that market cycle top is in. So what we can look for is this red line just crossed above. Great. Our blue line is down here. Great. As soon as this red line crosses the blue line, it's likely that the market cycle top is in. But for now, we're in phase 2. Phase 2 is a very healthy phase, according to what I've explained here. We can expect the market to move inside of this range and have a top of roughly 48K, a bottom of roughly 30K. 30K is our support zone, 48K is our resistance zone. And from this candle on October 23rd, we should expand roughly 1 to 200 days from that point. So roughly until May at the very latest, we should be out of phase 2 of the bull. And the only other phase that's left is phase 3, which generally has a lot of heat behind it and generally sees a market cycle top.
So the significance of phase 2, which you have that red box, and I remember we were talking earlier about this, is that after we hit, by the way, you and I have about the same targets as well, because I have 47 to 48K, about the same region as a resistance level, close to 50K basically. So your view is that after we hit the top of that box, that red box you have on the right-hand side, we could be stuck in some kind of a range for about 100 to 120 days?
Yeah, 1 to 200 days from October 23rd. And it's likely that we get resistance from 48K. It's likely that we see a pullback from 48K. Yes. It's also likely that we have to retest our base. It's the healthiest thing to do in terms of structure. Once you break through a prior resistance area, and the market is doing exactly what it should. You break through a resistance area that was resistance for literally 200 days. You break through, you're going to see a larger move. You've got to see it. But what you need to see for a healthy market is a retest of that to confirm the structure as support that was prior resistance. And that would be a power play for Bitcoin. To confirm that market structure would confirm a very healthy move for Bitcoin.
Yes, I do see your point. The only exception would be if we're in a wave 3 of a bull market, which I don't know if we are. It's too speculative at this moment. But if you look, for example, at that first box you have on the left-hand side, do you see that first box? The one.
This one?
Yes, the yellow one on the left. Now, as you can see, when that broke out when the price broke that box in 2020, in late 2020, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so that was a powerful move, which, as far as I can see, it did not come back to retest it until a year. Well, when was that? Until next year. It took many months for it to come back and retest that, almost a year afterwards. But your view is that we could come back and retest that 30K level within that 100 to 200 period.
Yeah, so 2019 was an anomaly. This was not a normal market cycle for Bitcoin. But if we compare it to 2012 and 2016, like, for example, phase 1 in 2019 was 500 days. Mm-hmm. For us, it was 200 days in this cycle.
Yeah.
So if we say, okay, 200 days is not very similar to 500 days, but 200 days is pretty damn similar to 200 days. Mm-hmm. They're both 200 days, 2016 and 2023. And 2012 was precisely 200 days. So we shouldn't compare it to this cycle, in my opinion. We should compare present action to these two other cycles, which have more similar action. However, these two were incredibly volatile in both directions, where we're seeing a lot less. According to the 5.3 theory, this current cycle that we're in will be the weakest one. Unfortunately, it's not a popular thing to say. It will not make people happy. But it's based on facts. It's based on the facts in the charts that this will be the weakest. It's not likely we get above 100K in the whole market cycle.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. We can see already the sentiment shifting among people. I mean, it's funny how sentiment shifts so rapidly. Only a few months ago, I don't know if you saw this, Steve, I put out a video where I was bullish on Bitcoin, and the comments I was getting was, nope, we're going to see a crash. This was literally only about 3 months ago, I think it was. And everybody was saying to me, no, Bitcoin is going to crash. And I said at the time, look, the system of thinking, what is often called episteme, that's changed. It's going to change. I said it's going to change, and everyone is going to go in the exact opposite direction. I guarantee you, people are right now, the sentiment has changed so bullish that people are going to say to you, Steve, no, we're just going to go straight up to all-time highs. We're going to go straight to 100K. That's the kind of mentality I believe we're moving towards, if we're not already there.
Yeah, and what's funny, Alessio, is
Yeah,
the people when we were here, the people that were calling for us to go substantially lower here are the same group of people that
Yes.
are calling for us to go over 100K now.
Absolutely.
It's the same group.
Yeah, I mean, it's often called the dumb money.
Yeah.
But that's probably correct. You could also call it just herd mentality. It's the mentality of the herd. Well, thank you very much, Steve. That was really fascinating and interesting. And so in your view, at the moment, at the moment we're making this video, price of Bitcoin just above 40K. And so your view is that that's critical. I mean, I actually think you're correct, because I have that same target as yourself as well, the 48K, 47K, just under 50K level of resistance. So your view is that once we get to those levels, we could see some kind of consolidation after that.
Absolutely. We should see a pullback, and then some consolidation, and a potential even a retest of our base, which is right around 30, 31. That would catch a lot of people off guard.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine. Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate that. And guys, make sure you go ahead and check out Steve Courtney's YouTube channel. I'll put the link for you guys in the description. Go ahead and check it out and subscribe. Steve has a lot of interesting videos for you to watch. Steve, by the way, before we finish, because we're coming close to the end of the year, I want to wish you, Steve, a fantastic holiday and Christmas, and also to our viewers. I want to wish you, all of you guys, a wonderful Christmas holiday. Let's see what things happen in 2024, and maybe next time we talk about Bitcoin, it's going to be interesting to see where we are at.
I look forward to it. Thanks for having me, Alessio.
Thanks very much, Steve. Cheers.